So on Monday, we were talking about the mindfulness as a faculty. And as a faculty and as a power, they look different from a beginner's mindfulness. Especially when it comes into the connection with the faculties as connection with other faculties, then this mindfulness looks as if like it's the balancer. Although generally we say it is, but the actual function of making everything balanced is this equanimity. And therefore, during in the deeper level of development of vipassana or satipatthana, then this mindfulness comes in as very continuous, deep, and yet it is balanced when things are going well. When it's balanced, that means you can able to notice the objects very clearly. Things are changing, thing arises, passes away, and then the equanimity at the same time, everything like goes evenly. Then you can notice everything carefully, clearly. No problem with the noting mind at that moment of time. And this is wonderful. The best is that we can able to maintain it as long as we can. But with the nature of our defilements, hindrances, our impatience sometimes, these things will come in to disrupt the imbalance, and therefore it is good that we are able to recognize the nature of those imbalance. So in order to bring back the mind which is balanced and able to note again. So this equanimity here, when it comes to the mindfulness, when this equanimity comes with that mindfulness, then some people may think that this equanimity is like you sit there, you're not happy, you're not sad. This is not indifference. This is not like you're gong gong, you do not know anything at all. You know everything, you know what is going on, and yet you're not being happy or you're being sad or being anything at all. There's no joy in it. I mean, there's not much of a joy during this time. The mind just go on quietly, clearly at this moment of time. When equanimity is there, for example, take a look at your pain. Take a look at your pain. Initially, in the beginning of our meditation, we cannot sit with the pain. Our mind is so easily affected by it, twist and turn and change and doing this and that, and we cannot tahan. We cannot have that. We cannot be able to withstand the difficulty, the painfulness of those nature of the pain. But as you go into the deeper aspect of the meditation, then that pain, you can able to watch it. And yet the mind is not affected. The mind is not happy. And yet the mind is not going into all this aversion and so on. The mind can able to see it with a very well balanced mind and to know able to what is really going on with the different nature of the pain. Even the pain is strong. So therefore, equanimity is happening at this moment. It balances the mind in order not to go too much here or extreme, towards the extreme. We can able to balance with it. Or for example, another one is that we thought about that in the hindrances also. For example, let's see, when you meditate, when you're doing deeper aspect of meditation, and then sometimes the images of the past arises, okay? And some of the images that you don't want to see, you really feel like you just want to shut down. yeah, or you want to cry already, yeah. Yeah. Or the sadness start growing very strongly because somebody died or somebody did something to you or you did something shameful or you did something terrible, in the past. You just want to come out of it. And so a lot of times when this type of thoughts arises, a lot of times we are just like open up the eyes and then stop the meditation for a while. Yeah. That's what a lot of us are doing, because that type of images are very strong and very impactful to the mind. Yeah. And as I said, this mindfulness, as you go deeper, these are confronting. It goes right in front of the object, and now the object is the image of the past memories. It becomes expanded, become very clear. And that this time, if you are not mindful, yes, you are drowned into it. But if you are able to have that mindfulness, then at the same time, when the equanimity is there together with the mindfulness, then you can able to watch those difficult memories with a very clear-minded, very stable. The mind that neither it's happy nor it go into sadness. Even it goes into sadness, but a little bit it just already come out from it, and then the mind able to remain in the balance, in the clear. Yeah. And then it's hard to do, and it takes a lot of practice. As I said, when the mindfulness goes deeper, these things happen. These things happen to the yogi. The mind can able to balance it. Yeah. So equanimity is there. So as I said, it's not in the beginning. You don't see those things in the beginning. It comes in with the deeper aspect of the practice. All right. So this is on equanimity. Now, last week also I mentioned that. Let me share the screen. Last week also I mentioned about some of the things that it comes with together with the mindfulness. This one we talk about it, as the mindfulness we have mentioned it quite a number of times. And this is neutrality or equanimity of the mind. You're conveying the consciousness and the mental factors evenly to prevent deficiency and excess or to prevent partiality, manifest as neutrality of the mind. It should be seen as a state of looking on with equanimity in the citta and the cettasika. Like the charioteer who looks on with equanimity at the thoroughbreds progressing evenly along the roadway. Okay, so this one. Also, at the same time, as you develop, not only equanimity comes in, it also comes in with a number of things. Perhaps you have seen it before, and in those days I also seen it, but I do not know how to put it into words until I begin to read about Abhidhamma. The moment I read all these things, hey, I've seen all these things before, but at that time I do not have words for it, when I have the words and the label and the right terms for it, then only I can understand it. And then I can able to share it out now, more conceptually. But in the practice, I've seen all those things. It's just that I do not know how to put it into words only. All right? Now, let's look into this called the six paths. Just like mindfulness and equanimity, while it's happening together, these six pairs of state, which later I'm going to look into it a little bit more, and we're going to open it up a little bit more in order for us to understand it more. If you're a Abhidhamma scholar or Abhidhamma student, you will come across this state of mind, these mental factors. These mental factors is part of the beautiful factors, or generally just wholesome factors. So This one is that a lot of times we don't discuss about it. We talk about mindfulness, we talk about effort, we talk about concentration, but these things, it hardly people talk about it. It's only when it comes into the deeper aspect of meditation, these things begin to show you more clearer. Okay? Okay, right. As I said, this mental faculty one, it's the talk on this mental faculty is more a deeper aspect of the mindfulness, not just in the beginning part of it. Okay, then this 6 pairs. Why you call it 6 pairs? Here the 6 pairs, it called in 6 pairs because in the Abhidhamma is connected with Chitta and Cetasika. If it connected with the Sutta, then it's the consciousness aggregate, Vijnana. And then Cetasika or Kaya here. Kaya here is not the body, Kaya here means a group, a body of the aggregates, because aggregates is already aggregate is a group already. Now you are just putting these 3 aggregates together in that sense. So you call it Kaya. Therefore, there will be Chitta Pasadi, Kaya Pasadi. So the Pasadi, that means that, for example, like number 1, the Pasadi that affects the Chitta, and then the Pasadi that affects what are the 3 mental aggregates? The 3 other mental aggregates is the feelings, the perception, and the Sankara, mental formation. Okay? Now, while we are going through all these things, just keep it in mind there are altogether 12 things because of 6 pairs. Altogether 12 things. But when we are discussing later on, I'm not going to talk about which one is Chitta and which one is Kaya. This is not Abhidhamma class. Abhidhamma class, perhaps they're going a little bit more. But what I want to equate here is that how these states of mind is connected while you are meditating, or perhaps even in your everyday life also. Okay? And these states, these 6 pairs, it belongs, as I said, to the beautiful states. If for Puthujjana, that means it still produce wholesome qualities, wholesome resultant, and it still produce wholesome resultant to you. So it is a wonderful state of mind. Okay. Now let us look at tranquility. Whether it's Chitta Pasadi or Kaya Pasadi. Now here is quieting the mental disturbance. Then here it overcomes or it subsides the restlessness and the worry. When you see in the beginning aspect of your meditation, let's say right now also let us all go into meditation, for example, instead of going into a talk. Then you sit down, you close your eyes. Do you think your mind will just quiet, man? Tak boleh, cannot. Your mind will be chichi-cha-cha, so much talking, so much everything inside there. That is exactly the opposite of tranquility. In the beginning part, you don't see all these things. Even right now, you ask me to meditate. Right now, at this moment, my mind also will not go into tranquility, because the tranquility state is a deeper aspect of the mind. So this type of tranquility, it does not come in our daily normal life, because in our daily normal life, everyday life, we are being informed to think, to create, to rationalize, to everything that you want to think your way out of your problems or whatever. You want to cook, what you want to cook? You also have to think, you have to plan. Yeah, in your work you have some problems. You got to think and you got to plan how to overcome that problem. Your company not enough money, your business not enough money. You have to think and plan and be more creative in order to have all these things to come in. Where I got tranquility. Tranquility is not something that we look highly in everyday world, because in the everyday world you are being fed to think. You are being taught to think and think and think and think. It's only when you come into meditation we are looking for it, You see, sometimes people thought that, wow, this person is so creative, so wonderful. This, how he can able to have the art, the way how he can imagine things, and the way he can draw, the way he can able to color, or he can able to create this, he can create that, those things. Then we praise these people. The human praise these people. But they forget that the other side of it is that you ask them to quiet down. They cannot do that. They cannot do that at all. The whole mind is missing that aspect, because they don't see this tranquility as something great. But now in the meditation, tranquility is something wonderful. Now it quiets the mental disturbance or mental noises. You will see that the thinking part, the thinking sometimes when you go into a meditation retreat or even in your daily aspect of your meditation, you know that these disturbances, noises and thinking are so difficult for us to quiet down. Now here we already, during in the hindrances, during in the restlessness and the worry, the fourth hindrances, we have already discussed many ways how we can able to quiet the mental disturbance. It's best that, of course, you do it in your meditation practice. Then that one you can able to remember for your life. But if you just rely on what I talk only, then 3 more days you have completely forgotten what is being said already. Because there are so many talks that have been gone through, and every talk there's something for you to learn. So therefore, those method and all that, those things that I've covered on it. But what I'm trying to say here is that right now, as a faculty, together with that mindfulness and tranquility, when it comes in, when it arises, when this tranquility arises with that mindfulness, it means that the mind is alert, clear, able to notice what is going on, because of other faculties are still involved, which is the concentration, wisdom, and so on. Those things are still is happening, But it is quiet from all these, floating thoughts that's passing through. Sometimes there's a small little noise and small little talking in the minds. Sometimes you can able to notice something in the foreground. You can able to notice, and yet the mind at the back there got a little bit of chi-chi-cha-cha, quietly. Wow, sometimes you meditate. Here, try to meditate. Here is trying to this one. Sometimes some yogis bosong one, want to stop the whole thinking, and just want to notice those things. The more you suppress these things, the more you want to suppress that noise, the more sometimes the anger arises, and then the whole mind become overwhelmed by aversion. What you should do is that you kind of like be patient with it. Just be patient with it. Sooner or later, this type of little thoughts will slowly go away, as long as you can able to notice what is going on. Sometimes it doesn't really go away. Go a little bit calm, take it also, take the meditation also. Don't think that the meditation, everything must be laid down, sui. The mind is all black, must be all clear, no thinking, then only you start meditating. No way. You wait until that time, you die and then you reborn again, still nowhere else, and reborn again, still nowhere else. So you have to take it. It's more like, sometimes it's more like 80% noting, or 90% noting. The 10% is a bit of noise at the back there. But this time, when it comes with tranquility, it's 100%. It's so, the mind is quiet, but the mind is quiet and yet it's just fully alert of what is really going on. For example, you notice the in-breath, out-breath, the changes is going on, the rising, falling, is everything there without all this noise. Even the labeling that you, when we begin to do meditation, you notice this in-breath, out-breath, Buddha, or rising, falling, and all those things. This time, everything is gone. And your mind is fully alert when it comes with that mindfulness and tranquility. And that is how powerful the mind is. Don't think, please, don't think that this tranquility is like you meditate already, and then after that, everything shut down, quiet, and then you do not know anything already. For example, a lot of you who are doing in-breath, out-breath, this is one of the factors. You thought that you go into tranquility, actually you are going into nowhere. You go in-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath, and then you're neither awake or asleep also, you do not know. How long the time passed through, you do not know. That means if you do not know, that means there's no mindfulness inside there. And that is not tranquility, that is sloth and torpor already, But you think you think you are so good meditating. Oh, I can sit for 3 hours. What happened in 3 hours? I do not know. Everything just shut down. I wake up 3 hours already. Wow, good. Many people actually have those things. They thought that they go into passaddhi. Oh, I got this mental factor of passaddhi, tranquility. This is not tranquility. This is not passaddhi. This is neither here nor there. You do not know what is going on. This tranquility really comes with mindfulness and its balance. Even if you do samatha meditation also, your mind also have that alertness, that mindfulness is still involved. If even in the samatha you do not know what is going on, you meditate until you do not know, then something wrong already. Even in the vipassana also the same thing. They watch the rising or falling, they watch the pain or whatever. Usually not the pain, usually. The pain usually make you very alert. Other objects usually make you, like for example, they watch this small subtle object, like the mind. They watch the mind, they cannot see it and everything, battery everything gone. Quiet and nice. Just like the samatha meditator. It's the same thing because the energy drops, everything drops, the mindfulness drops, and they thought that this is tranquility. This is not tranquility. So the quieting these mental disturbances, when they say tranquility, it comes with that alertness, the clarity of the mind. The faith is still working, the wisdom is still working. So don't think that this tranquility. So when it's come together with the mindfulness, it is wonderful. So this tranquility also in another chapter, another time, maybe on 7 factors of enlightenment. Then tranquility is part of one of the factors of enlightenment. In the Abhidhamma, it just divided into citta, kaya, passaddhi, and all that. So we don't go into which one is which one. Even though I can talk about it a little bit, but not necessary that. What is important is that you kind of like, as a meditator, you kind of like aware of what is going on. Sometimes when these things happen to a yogi, the yogi thought that something wrong with the mind. How come? For example, especially with the labeling, they are so used with the labeling, rising, falling. Then after that, suddenly, Bante, how come my mind cannot label one? I can still able to notice, see, I think something wrong with me already. Because when this thing is happening first time, it's exactly, you thought that something is wrong with your mind. But actually, when you get used to it, It's a wonderful state of mind. Yeah. Tranquility. Yeah. Sometimes you call it peace. Yeah. But peace may not be this one. Again, the word here sometimes for many people have a different idea. Even sometimes I listen to some Abhidhamma teachers talking about pasadi. They talk about the mind go into quiet. Just now, like what I said, the negative one, go into everything quiet, nothing. And then they tell the person, the students, all the Abhidhammas are to do like that also. See, this is not tranquility. This is when it's quieting the mental noises, and it goes together with the mindfulness, alertness, clarity. Yeah. Number 2, lightness or agility. Yeah. Lahuta. The capacity of the mind to turn very quickly to a wholesome object, opposed to the heaviness of the mind, opposed to sloth and torpor. Okay. Now here when it says opposed to sloth and torpor, imagine that when you have sloth and torpor when you are meditating. Yeah? When you are meditating, when the sloth and torpor is there, how do you feel? The mind feel like so sticky, so heavy, does not want to work or do anything at all. Just the mentally just lazy already at this time. So when you are completely free from that sloth and torpor, you see that the mind can able to start noting everything very clearly again. Yeah. Usually in the Vipassana meditator, a lot of times we have this sloth and torpor. Sometimes in every sitting. But there are also meditators, even with this sloth and torpor, they make really good, they try this and try that, they make effort in order to overcome the sloth and torpor in many ways. That also we talk about how to overcome and so on in the past during the hindrances talk on hindrances. Then here, if they're able to overcome the sloth and torpor, then they see that the whole mind alert again, can able to start to become light and able to begin to notice a rising, falling in, breath out, breath, everything very clearly. So when there's a contrast, you see that the mind it's when there's sloth and torpor, and immediately when you're free from that sloth and torpor, you feel that it's really good. The whole mind is light again. In that sense, in a deeper aspect of it, the lightness or the agility, that I gave the example, how fast one can enter into or arise from or arise out from a jhana or a nibbana. Okay. So for example, you are a samatha meditator and you're already able to develop jhanas, for example. First jhana, second jhana, maybe third, maybe fourth. Yeah? Now, while you are practicing, immediately if the teacher asks you, can you go into jhana right now? Then the mind, if it's light, very fast, it can able to, within a few seconds, boom, into jhana already. Yeah, they gone into jhana. This is how fast they can go in because of their lightness of their mind. If you're a vipassana meditator, then that means perhaps you already attained first jhana, second jhana, and so on. And not all the time you can able to see nibbana. But the thing is that when you want it, when you want to go into it, can you immediately go into it? I think maybe this is not a very good example because all your face also All the face also question mark. 講咩真啊？講緊點辦啊？阿背搞去邊啦？對比講緊一回。I'm not. So wait. I think this may not be so good. But those who can, just to give you an example, those who can, they can able to enter into it or come out from it. Maybe the second other example is easier. When your mind, for example, when it notes the in breath, out breath, or rising, falling, or any sensation, can you like sit down there, immediately goes into noticing arising and passing away? For example, a number of you, for example, I know that in the retreat, you could go into seeing this arising and passing away. Titi tata, oh, wonderful. In the retreat you can do. But when you come back after a while and you have not been in the retreat for some time, how fast can you go into all this rising, falling, in breath, out breath? You struggle for a while, struggle. Then after that, rising, falling become clear again. There. Pain also become clear again. Now I can able to notice the pain with more carefully. Yeah. Why? Because the mind is heavy in a way. Because it cannot able to turn quickly into those objects. Yeah. So usually you see this lightness and this agility of the mind is when you are in a long retreat. When you're in a long retreat, as you develop further, then that time, sometimes I ask the yogi, hey, you sit down already, all these phenomena start already, For example, that's a rising, falling, pop, in breath, out breath, everything. Does it start immediately? Or you have to wait until like 15 minutes later, then only something come up. Yeah. You see, some of you, perhaps you have been meditating. You know that during in the retreat, you're able to do that. Sit down already when you're in after a week or so, not like we are not talking about first day, second day. If those of you just do 3 days only retreat on, then go on, don't you won't be able to understand it. This one when we talk about tranquility, agility, you have gone into a retreat like 1 week or 10 days or 2 weeks, depending on you. But usually after a week or so, or 10 days or so, then these things become much more clearer to you. You sit down and the object is coming in very easily for you. So that means you can able to turn the mind quickly into the meditation object and you begin to note everything already. So this is called, in a way, lightness. But we don't see it, we don't normally talk about it, in this way. We just say, are you mindful or not? You're mindful. It's so easy for you to note from your walking into sitting, and you're able to note your sitting objects, this and that. So this is what is happening now. The lightness of the mind, or agility of the mind. Okay. Third one, malleability or the word pliancy. This is what we call the softness of the mind. Subsiding of mental rigidity, adaptable to various meditation objects, opposed to wrong view, conceit, stubborn, etc. All right. Softness of the mind. You see, sometimes before we talk about these things, about into the meditation, this one also in our everyday life also, it happens also, whether your mind is fixed to a certain patterns of ideas or thoughts or not. Take for example, idea of death. Think of something, idea of death. Simple example. When we talk about the idea of death, some people I don't want to hear Mang Kok Kong lah. I don't want to hear all this type of death knowledge. I don't want to hear of all this death thing. I want to hear happy only, everything happy only. All this death is so no, don't talk about it. As I said, like for example, Chinese New Year, we very pantang, Why pantang? Why all this taboo and so on? Because we're holding on to a certain idea of death. And the way that we hold on to that idea of death in a negative manner, then our mind is rigid, fixed to a certain way of thinking. Fixed to a certain way of thinking. Or sometimes you go into a meeting. Sometimes like people they give various idea. Come to the meeting, and then some people are so fixed with the idea, thinking that the idea is the best, and other people's idea is no good at all. And then another fella will think that his idea is the best, and others is all no good at all. Even others will tell you that there are some problems with this. No, my idea is the best. These are the things that perhaps you may hear it in your office and so on. They are fixed, they're stubborn in their perception or their views or their conceit or their wrong views. So the mind is not open. The mind is very close. So to give you an idea about these things, and the mind is not soft and it's not pliant. That means he cannot able to come out from the fixed thinking to more open thinking, to open-mindedness. So the mind is very, here if you don't have this malleability or pliancy, the mind is rigid. What else is there? Let me see, softness. Yes, another thing. For example, if most of you right now want to become a nun or a monk, and let's say, wow, you cheng sim already. Your heart is filled with a lot of faith. Let's say, okay, you want to give up everything. You want to become a monk or a nun. For me to take you in, I have to think twice. Or think a lot of time before I want to take you in. You know why? Because most of you here are already like 50, 60, want to die already. And those of you are not because you want to die. It's because you got 50 or 60 years of fixed idea already. Your way of thinking, your way of your lifestyle, everything is so fixed already. You're not like not to say every young person will be easier to teach, but to teach an old dog a new trick, very, very difficult. So too with the monks' world also the same thing. Sometimes the older ones they want to come in to become a monk for a long term until they die one. They would want to come. Wow, their way of talking, their way of respect, and their way of thinking, their stubbornness, their views and everything. Wow, you cannot iron them out. Everything is pussy-cut inside there. Everything is all crumbled up. And then you tell them, hey, you're not supposed to speak like that to your seniors. Then you tell them, yes. After that, 2 days later, they completely forget because it's their nature to speak in that way. So all ones are not easy to train. Younger ones are easier to train. Not to say that they don't have stubbornness, but because they have not connected with the world so much yet, they don't have all these fixed views so much. So they're easier to train. They are more pliant, more soft. You can bend them, into a way which is gentle, with a way it is soft. How to behave, how to this one and all that thing. You see, for example, when we go into Burma, even the devotees, from young, they are trained to pay respect, how to talk to the monks, how to talk to this one, with a sense of their respect, and their comes out from their action, not just only in your speech, but it comes out in the action. Very beautiful, very nice. And here we all, we are not in the Buddhist from young one, somewhere in the middle of our life we come in, and then you can see that the roughness in our attitude and the way where we talk. Sometimes when there's a group of people goes to Burma and they want to go Dana la, Katina la, and everything, sometimes, pre-pandemic times, groups of people go there. And then sometimes as a monk, we can see when this Malaysian group come, ayo, kong wa, talking la, this and that. And here the Burmese devotees are sitting down, waiting, quiet, and this, then they come in now, they want to do dana, they want to offer and all that, but their behavior is so rough, Sometimes y'all don't see that, Sometimes it's hard for y'all to see these things until you have eyes like mine. We can see through all of you, and then we can see this type of habit is happening, Then sometimes we tell the devotees, hey, you all don't do like that, you all sit down. Hey, you see that we all come here, we want to dana, they ask us to do this and do that. Next time they want to come already. Then the ego, the view, all hold on together. Just to mention something. But anyway, come back to our faculty. Now, because of our faculty, and when it comes into that mindfulness thing, all right, when it comes to that mindfulness and with this malleability, then, for example, I put that changing from a sitting object to a walking object. Okay, sitting object to a walking object. Now, some people, some yogis, or even actually a number of yogis, they have a hard time to change from a sitting object to a walking object. You thought that you just because you know how to walk, just you think that you know everything about walking already. Actually, no. You know how to walk is one thing, but how you pay attention to the objects of noting is completely another thing. Now, many of the yogis that I've gone through, I've seen, when you ask them about their sitting meditation, they can describe this sitting, rising, falling here, this, that, wonderful. Good. Now you tell me about your walking meditation. When it comes to walking meditation, lifting, pushing, dropping. Lifting, pushing, dropping. What else can you notice? Can you see the changes in the sensation and all those things? Cannot la, Bante. Cannot. Can only see lifting, pushing, dropping only. But your sitting meditation, you can see into all this detailness of your noticing, your rising, falling, change this thing, that one. How come you cannot see that in your walking meditation then? You mean the 4 elements in the body during sitting is different from 4 elements of the body during in the walking? Exactly otherwise the same elements that you can do it in your sitting, but at the same time, you can't do it in the walking. They're the same elements only, but how come the mind cannot truly goes in to see exactly what you have been seeing in the sitting meditation? Why? Because of this mind is a bit rigid. Not to say you're still able to meditate, but when it comes into your walking meditation, you cannot note as detailed as what you are doing in the sitting. And that is where I give the example of like an aeroplane, You want to progress further, you want to progress far, but When you see the aeroplane got two engines. This time it's only one engine functioning, the other engine is sleeping. So your progress only dependent on sitting only. When it comes to the walking, see nothing. I mean, can still walk. Your mind is not running here and there, but you cannot penetrate what is going on in the walking meditation. You can see a lot of insight. Oh, this is changing impermanence, everything. When it comes to walking meditation, everything is just lifting, pushing, dropping only. Lifting, pushing, dropping. Where's the arising and passing away that you can able to notice in your sitting meditation? Why? Because of a certain, sometimes this thing very difficult to teach. How to, and then after if I power and then lagi susah, and then the whole aeroplane worse, that one worse. So at least you fly on one engine better than fly on no engine or the whole plane explode. So at least you can able to work on one better than nothing. So that's why, as I said, why sometimes yogis are slow in their development, because they can able to do one thing only. When it comes into, let's say, daily activities are even worse. They can't even feel what is really going on. But when it comes to sitting meditation, they go, wow, they can see this, and that. And it comes to walking, nothing much. And it comes to daily activities, lagi, nothing much. Even more nothing. Yeah. So here is what we call the mind is not able, the mind is rigid sometimes because of certain idea of form is there. The idea of, sitting is you have that form, or walking, you have that form. Daily activities, you got this form. Because you still maybe are holding on to that idea of form, then maybe not, because you cannot able to penetrate other meditation object. Yeah. Even like standing, also the same thing. You can able to notice the arising, passing away in the sitting. When it comes to standing, everything just quiet. Nothing happens, nothing moves. This is what I meant over here. So that one, I think if you are a meditator, then you can see this type of things happening. This type of happening. So if you have become much more proficient, much more better in your practice, then you see that your mind becomes softer and gentle, and it can able to do whatever object that comes in. So to like another example, like from a samatha to vipassana meditation, or vipassana to samatha meditation. Sometimes you may notice that, okay, now you do a lot of vipassana meditation. Okay, let's all change to metta meditation. May I be well and happy. Then after that, you go back to your rising and falling. Pip, pip, pop, pop. Then, no. Supposed to do metta. May I be free from harm and danger. May I be free. May this and may that. Then after that, a while you go back to your rising, falling again, and then watch. Hey, I'm supposed to do metta. Go back again to metta. Why? Because of our nature of our mind. Because our nature of mind, we are fixed into a certain way of doing things. We are holding on to a certain pattern or certain ideas, which in a way, we may not think of it as something unwholesome. It is here, as I said, this is not something, when it comes into a faculty and meditation, it's not unwholesome. It's just that you cannot do only. It's not that you're going to go to hell or go into animal. No. This is not. It's just that you cannot do only. But when you can actually do it, you can find that while you're meditating for a while, you come out from, let's say, from Nibbana. Immediately after from Nibbana, okay, forget about Vipassana a while, and then let's go into Samatha. Go into Samatha and then just change and then go into Jhana. Without coming back into Vipassana. That means the mind is so soft and it's so gentle and it's so flexible in that sense. So that's why it is so interesting, this type of things that's happening in our practice. So we don't realize that we have these certain patterns of our minds and mental habits that we are forming all the while, and then it comes out little bit. So things like that. Okay, this is called malleability. So when it comes into when it's balanced, when it's clear, you can see that the mind can change from sitting immediately come up into the walking. He can able to start doing the walking very clearly, just like continue from the what you stop from the sitting, it goes into the walking, and you can start noticing what is happening in the lifting, pushing, dropping already. Another example is this. On the third one, also the same thing, is that some people between mind object and body object. In the beginning part, when you start to become slightly more proficient, better in your meditation, you can notice this rising and falling. Wow, notice rising and falling. Notice this in breath, out breath. Very good, wonderful. But when you come to noting the mind, everything's just stopped on it. The mind is just blank on it. You can't see anything. Then you go back to a rising and falling again. Wow, the rising and falling can move this one, everything here. Then you try to notice the mind. Blank again. Same like this is called malleability, because the mind is not soft enough to able to tackle or to able to watch the nature of these states of mind, or the chitta or the consciousness here. So this is called malleability. Okay. The fourth one is called wieldiness or workableness. Here it's subsiding the unwieldiness, not become too soft or become too rigid, in the sense that right now it opposed to the sensual desire of ill will. Sensual desire makes the mind become too soft or too dilute, whereas ill will makes it too rigid, hard, or contracted, in that sense. Ill will here, we have to look into it as when we are meditating. Here the ill will is not like hatred, it's just like the bosong. You are just a slight aversion of things. Because the mind, you see that it begins to contract already. Take for example, when your mind able to notice the pain, when things are in the state of balance, you can able to notice the pain and what is going on with the pain. You can see it nicely, wonderful, good. But later on, you find that you begin to struggle already. You begin to struggle with the pain, slight aversion coming up already, and then with the background aversion coming up, the mind will start thinking of, should I stop or not? Should I shift the leg or not? Should I do this or should I do that? The mind begins to contract already, become rigid already because of that aversion is slightly coming up. And it's more that it's stronger as the pain becomes stronger, the aversion starts to come up even stronger. Then that mind is really contracted, already hardened already during that time. The mindfulness is disappearing already. Sometimes the hardened thing, like mentally you are hardened, it makes the body also become very rigid. Sometimes you can see that when they bear up with the pain, they sit until they tense up the whole body and become so with the body, and then they cannot tahan. They still want to tahan. They grit their teeth. Oh, the time is not up yet. Wait. It's rigid now. You can see that sometimes in the past also we did all those things, but we don't have a name for all these things until we later on. Then I know all these type of things began happening. So too with sensual desire. Sensual desire it makes the mind become soft. Sometimes if at one time you meditate, let's say sitting, your mind is able to sit down very, very nicely. You can sit on it erect. Your body is erect. You can able to notice your objects, your main objects here and there, and it's good. But then after that, beautiful objects like in the image comes in. Like in the image comes in. Then you forget about the meditation object, your main meditation object, and then your attention unmindfully goes to noticing the beautiful objects that comes up or mentally, like image and so on. Then you see that your body also begin to soften. Then it becomes sengeh already. It just now was erect, now it began to hunch a little bit already. Hunch a little bit, and then you sit there, just enjoy. Sometimes some yogis sit there and when not only they enjoy, they start to smile. Wow, so nice and everything. And then suddenly they realize, hey, I'm not supposed to go into all these type of thoughts. And then when this type of thoughts disappear, then the body and the mind goes back into clearness and the body becomes erect again. So this part, the wilderness also, it means that when you want to work on your object also, your mind is not too soft or not too rigid. Not soft like it becomes like not workable. And they give the suttas give the example of the gold. They give an example of gold. If you want to form the gold into an earring or to any form of jewelry, then when you melt it, you want to melt it, and then later on when you want to shape it, you cannot be too hard. Also at the same time, when you want to shape it, it cannot be too soft. It has to have a certain softness is there, but it cannot be too soft like it's in the liquid form. So you have to have somewhere in the balance there. So too, our mind also have to be like that. It cannot be too rigid. It cannot be like when you try to note an object. Sometimes some yogis are very impatient. They try to note rising, falling, let's say. Rising. Or falling. As if you're putting a machine gun inside your mind, and then you just press the trigger, everything come out. You thought that by doing that, you can notice things a little bit more. Your mind is actually rigid like that. And then on the other end, it becomes too soft. Then they try to note, 想到的修戒sorry 想到修戒here, rising, falling, falling, song rising, falling. What else you see? No, just rising, falling. Too soft already, the whole mind. And you're not able to notice what is really going on there. You're just the mind, you make it too soft, too gentle, because sometimes maybe their character is like that, their everyday character is like that. Then when they deal with the meditation object, their character also are inside that noting mind, and then it becomes like that also. Some yogis it's like, as I go inside there, I want to fight with the meditation object. At one time there's a yogi come into reporting to me in Kuching. This yogi come in meditating with the fist like that, like that. One day, this rising, falling, I want to fight with it. Fight. With the fist like this. How do you meditate? On Monday, with the pain coming on, long the yogis like that are so hard, the character. Sometimes I want to laugh, I want to scold the yogi, so I do not know. It makes my mind also. Yeah, that's it. It's so hard and so this one. So it's here the wilderness is not too hard and not too soft. And then the mind can able to work on that object. Now a lot of times Sadhu Nyaya Punika, when they give the instruction of Vipassana, and I remember it very much. It says, hey, when he gave the instruction to the yogis in the Dhamma talk, he said, be gentle, be soft. Be gentle, be soft in your meditation, but not in the sense of too soft, because there are a lot of yogis are very hard, very hard inside there because maybe of their nature in their everyday work, they got to be, with the DAP song, the DAP song, that type of mentality that they have. You do not know the DAP is okay, never mind. If you're not from Malaysia. Anyway, it's called wilderness. Number 5, proficiency, spontaneity. Spontaneity means fitness or competence, opposed to what we call the sickliness or gilanya bhava of chitta or chittasika. The Pali word gilanya here, it's sick, sometimes you use the word sick for if you are fall sick and so on. But this time it's sickliness of the chitta and chittasika. Spontaneity, fitness or competence here. Now I'll give you a simple example before we go into a deeper ones. Offering of dana, like you're giving a dana. Like when you're offering a dana, let's say somebody were to tell you, hey, there's a dana to do. Would you like to help or not? Would you like to go, or would you like to sponsor or anything or not? Want to give anything or not? Then some people will think, should I give or should I not give? Should I go or should I not go? They think, they plan. After some time, and then only they give. Yeah. But for some people, when you say there's a dana only, oh dana, okay, let's go, let's give, let's do something. Why is that two mental states? Because here again, it's called the spontaneity, it's a proficiency. And here again, the proficiency comes in, as some of you perhaps, maybe like 20 years ago, you are like that. When they talk about dana, should I give or not? Should I give or not? Should I do this or not? Should I do that or not? But after a number of years, when there is only, immediately you already spontaneously, you can able to do it already. Spontaneously, you know what to do already. You know how to do. Yeah. For example, people are hungry right now. Then you already know what to do, what to plan, who to call, you know how to plan everything already, to organize those things already, because proficient, in that sense, which is good, in that way. And it takes you quite a long time, to have that proficiency. It takes you over time to train again and again and again and again until you have what the Pali word, sasankarika to asankarika. If you are the Pali scholar, or Pali student, proficiency is connected to wholesomeness, and here is part of the sasankarika, asankarika thing. So proficiency is the asankarika, unprompted, spontaneous, unprompted. You don't have to need a lot of prompting and thinking and so on. You can straight away able to do it already. Yeah? So too, the same thing when it comes into a meditation object. Yeah? For example, when you come into a hindrance, let's say sloth and torpor arises at this moment of time. What should you do? How to overcome it? If you have not trained and your mindfulness is weak, then the hindrances will start to overwhelm you because you do not know the way how to overcome the hindrance. You're just like going on, Bante, every time I meditate, this sleepiness comes in. How? You do not know what to do. Uh, so they fail at that particular sitting. Sometimes when they listen to some Dhamma talks, even some yogis, they listen, but when they come to meditation time, they forgot what to do, They forgot what to do. Then sometimes we have to give again and again until the thing really goes into it, and then they start to use it during at the sitting when they are sleepy, and the method of how to overcome the sloth and torpor. Now, if they're able to do it, they gain proficiency, because in the next time when you have the sloth and torpor comes in, you begin to able to know, hey, last time I did this, let me try and see. Immediately you try that, and you can able to overcome the sloth and torpor very quickly. Yeah. You see, meditation, a lot of time we thought that everything goes smoothly, soon, everything is good. Oh, you think meditation, a lot of times it goes like that. When you got problems like hindrances, you don't know how to take care, you don't know how to work already, how to meditate anymore. It's just like in the everyday circumstances also the same thing. For example, if you know how to use your mobile phones and all the apps, if everything's soon, or you know how to press Facebook this and that, but when the problem comes in with your phone, or somehow another you log out or whatever, oh, see how come my app is not working anymore? How come? Say already must ask my son already, must ask my this one, must ask everything. Because you do not know how to fix it. It's the same thing. Especially when you get older, you get older, you want to play with the phone. Yes, you want to play with the phone, but when the problem comes in, you do not know what to do. You have to rely on somebody else. You dare not to touch. After I touch everything, habis hilang, all my money gone or whatever. You're afraid of those things. So here is the same thing, because the mind is not competent. The mind is not competent to overcome certain problem. So here is the same thing. You when the hindrances coming, you know what to do. So too, like imbalance of faculties, that later on we're going to talk, other talks, like too much effort already. How are you going to reduce it, or how are you going to balance it? What should you do? Or you do not know what to do. Or when it comes to too much concentration, what should I do? How to know that this is too much concentration? All these things are called proficiency, Although when you listen to it, is one thing, When you put into application while you are meditating, that is the real proficiency. Thinking about it only is one thing. That is because we are not in the state of meditating. Yeah? Now, just bear with me for a little while more. The rectitude or uprightness or straightness, uju kata. The word uju here is every time that we chant some supatipano bhagavato sawaka sangho uju patipano. Uju here is the straightness, opposed to insincerity, hypocrisy, or crookedness of mind, or deception, etc. Here, for example, again, give you a simple example. If you're having dana, but then you want to seek for name and for gain and for fame, then that means there's insincerity is there. Insincerity is there. Then when we can see it, right? We are not truly for the sake of giving for the happiness of others, or for the karma or whatever. But here we want the name for ourselves, or we want a certain gain. That one we can see it very clearly, because there's an ulterior motive behind it. What else? There's so many things. In our life. Our mind is not straight. But when it comes into meditation, you also have to be careful, because that if your mind is very witty, that means you are sharp and you are clear and you can able to develop the meditation. Does not mean that your defilements are far away from you. If you're not careful only, sometimes this meditation, these defilements or these latent defilements is just spring up, and it affects your purpose of your meditation. For example, there are many people Take for example, they meditate. They meditate, what they can able to attain jhana this, jhana that. Or they thought that they can able to see past life, or they can able to see, or they can able to, you can see past lives and so on. Whether the past life is true or not. But then after that, with their ability that they have, they want to, they have the motive to become known by their group of people, or they want to become a teacher already. Because they meditate because of that, becoming a teacher, so that they can able to guide others and so on. So with this, you may thought that what's wrong with guiding others? Being a teacher is good one. But then the purpose of meditation is not about being a teacher. It's because there's attachment to some gain and some fame that is connected to being a teacher. Then you thought that this is a wonderful thing. It is not this one. That means you're not straight anymore to your purpose, You're really going out into worldliness in a sense. Even there's some people like they're good in their meditation, rising, falling, sitting, touching, everything. They can able to notice, go into retreat many times already. But then again, they want to like show off their skills to others sometimes. Sometimes they want to show off their skills. Sometimes once in a while I met with this one. So therefore, while you're meditating, while you're observing everything, when this type of thoughts comes in, for certain gain or certain fame or certain worldly nature, then you better put them all aside. If not, your mind can bend into those things. And right now, when it comes into this number 6 and faculty, your mind is very good, proficient, and is wonderful already. But if you're just not careful, you're not straight to your purpose, you just bend it out, then things will go, it won't go to hell. Again, as I said, it just doesn't reach your purpose only. There's a tainted by the gain and fame and so on already. Understand here? Yeah. Not too difficult. Not too difficult to understand if you have examples connected to all these 6 things, But if you read the Abhidhamma, you don't understand at all. You don't know what they are talking at all. Yeah? So here and I said with this, the 6 things here, as I said, here when you are able to meditate, all these things, when you are clear and so on, all these things comes together. Sometimes one become more prominent than the others. Sometimes tranquility is more than the others. Sometimes the softness of the mind or malleability or the pliancy of the mind is more than others. It is more than others. So not all the time they are the same. Sometimes which one is more prominent. Okay? But they are at the background if you keep on meditating further. So as I said on Monday, these things, you don't have to worry about it. More or less, during in your retreat, in your practice, it will slowly come to you. And also, of course, it depends on your character and so on. But you don't have to really develop these things. All you need to do is know how to develop the mindfulness. And these things will follow through. Yeah? Okay? All right. So we stop here for tonight. Yeah? We'll talk about this. We'll talk about another topic on Monday. So on Friday, we'll have Q&A again. Now, next time, talk about Q&A. Next time you want to send me questions on Q&A, send on maybe Wednesday night or Thursday or Friday before 5 o'clock. Don't send on Monday. Don't send on Saturday, after last Dharma talk, and then Saturday or Sunday I already received Dharma talk for the coming Friday already. Sometimes I may explain certain things in the Dharma talk, and then perhaps you understand, and then you don't have to answer it anymore. We don't have to answer it anymore, perhaps, So wait until Wednesday. Wait until Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, or Wednesday I mean, better is Thursday or Friday, then it will be better. Okay? All right. Okay. Now we share merits.